Welcome to Tech Brothers. In this video, we're going to learn how to create workload groups in Resource Governor of SQL Server. We'll be using two ways to do it, using SQL Server Management Studio graphic user interface and using T-SQL Script. In this video, we'll be learning how to configure importance of a workload, how to configure timeout of a workload, how to configure DOP, which is also known as degree of parallelism. So we'll be configuring that as well. Resource pool for different application connecting to SQL Server, how to configure CPU usage, how to configure memory usage, and these are the physical resources of SQL Server. So let's go ahead and create a workload. Here's my SQL Server and here's my resource governor. I'm connected with Management Studio, and SQL Server Mirror is my instance, and I wanted to basically control the physical resources of this instance, SQL Server Mirror instance, using a great feature in SQL Server called Resource Governor. So in order for us to create a workload group, we have to have a resource pool. Resource pool is basically, let's say there are 4 applications connected with SQL Server, so each application has its own resource pool and has its own limitations. So resource pool gets assigned to an application or sessions, and we're going to use that. So we're going to go ahead, and these are 2 resource pools we already created. If you don't know how to create resource pool, please watch my video. Again, I wanted to mention this, these are resource governor videos are the suite. So in order to take advantage of resource governor and learn resource governor from scratch to where it really works for you, you need to watch the whole suite, which would be 5 to 6 videos. So we're going to go ahead, and we already created the resource pool, so we're going to go ahead, right click, and if you see right here, workload group, there is no workload group in this one, and let's expand this one, there is no workload group on this one. So we're going to go ahead, right click, and click on new workload group. So up here, what I want to do is, these are 2 user defined. Default and internal resource pools are created based on by default when you install SQL Server. So we're going to go ahead, and these are 2 user defined resource pools. So we're going to create a workload for finance related application, and we're going to create a workload report queries. This is our other resource pool. So we're going to go ahead and select the resource pool that you wanted to create a workload group for. So up here, you're going to go ahead and name. So finance related work group is Excel queries. This is my workload group, and we're going to the importance is really important. If you set the importance high, it's gonna grab its resources the first thing. So we're gonna go ahead and keep it medium. You have an option to keep it low, medium, or high. So we're going to keep it medium, and maximum up here, let me expand these. Maximum requests. This resource pool can work group can have how many requests in there. Requests are basically attached with the sessions. Whenever a user come in SQL Server, it has a session ID. All the session ID can be put in a workload. Workload are similar queries that is running on SQL Server. So all those different sessions that are running Excel queries on SQL Server, we can go ahead and put it in this particular workload group. And how many requests this particular workload group can have, you can define here. You can create multiple workload group under one resource pool. So we're going to go ahead and say 20 maximum request this can handle, and for these requests, the CPU time, this is in seconds. I'm going to go ahead and say 1000 seconds. This is after 1000 seconds per time is going to limit it. So memory granted is in percentage. 25% is okay, because I don't want it to take more than that. Grant time out. You will see when we'll create classifications how important grant timeout is, that you need to make sure that your timeout setting is not conflicting with CPU time or conflicting with your other physical resources. You need to give it appropriate timeout, otherwise it'll get the timeout Let's say we wanted to limit a login. I'll just give you a little quick scenario. There are 2 logins that we want it to just connect to SQL Server and consume its resources between 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. So anytime other than that is going to timeout. So we're gonna go ahead and wait till 10 seconds or 30 seconds. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna put a grant timeout in seconds up here. That's one scenario. Other scenario is that if the resources are not basically assigned to the if it's gonna take time is like, let's say I'm going to timeout seconds in this 100 seconds, and if 100 seconds goes more than 100 seconds, it's gonna go timeout. Degree of parallelism, this is very important. Some queries run really basically what degree of parallelism is, that how if you have multiple CPUs, multiple CPU cores and all that good stuff in your operating system, and SQL Server is configured to use multiple CPUs, and then you can go ahead and define that how many parallel processing that in this workload can happen. Let's say 10 session comes in, so it start if you define 0, it's going to basically go ahead and do 1 at a time and finish that and then grab next. If you define degree of parallelism up here is 4, then it's going to go ahead and basically use the 4 CPUs. This depends on your number of CPUs basically, and you have to kind of monitor this, that what queries run faster under what DOP. So it's also known as a DOP, degree of parallelism. So I'm going to go ahead and put 4 here, and after I did that, we're gonna go ahead and do the report query right now. So report queries work group, importance is basically medium is okay, maximum requests, there are a lot of users who run reports. We're going to go ahead and do 30. CPU time, we're going to go ahead and give 2,000 seconds, and grant 25. I'm going to bump this up to 40, and this is going to take 40% of the memory that we have defined, 50% up here. So it's gonna, this workload is going to take 40% of this 50%. So just keep in mind. Timeout would be 1,000 seconds, and this I really need to do like 6. So again, this might not work. This might actually have a bad impact on your queries. But if six doesn't work, you need to change it to 2, 3, 4. However, it works right for you. This is important though, that if you configure degree of parallelism, it goes back to performance. So we went ahead and did that. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna quickly up here, I'm going to quickly generate a script as well. So we're gonna go ahead and click OK, and this is the script. T-SQL Script will be using it, and as you can see that these are the same parameters that we did, and it will create the workload using the pools. Right here you will see this is the names of the work group, and you will see the pools right here. Report query is the pool, and using finance resource pool. These are the user defined pools that we did. So let's go ahead and take a look that if those work groups are created. As you can see, those work groups are created, and right here, let's see. Alright, these 2 work groups are created. So we're gonna go ahead and delete these work groups and run our T-SQL script. Alright, let's go ahead and run this script, and it's completed successfully. Let's go ahead and take a look. We're gonna go ahead and refresh this, and up here there's a work group. We're gonna go ahead and refresh this one as well, and up here is a work group. So basically this is how you create workload group in resource governor of SQL Server using SQL Server Management Studio graphic user interface and using T-SQL Script. I hope this video helps.